Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to go through the tops, trops, traps and slaps for NRL SuperCoach round 8 of the 2024 season. So how it works, just quickly for those that are new to the concept, we look at the most popular trade in and trade out options every week. If we like the trade in option, well then we give it the tops. If we like the trade out option, well we're going to give them the chop. If we don't think that it's a good idea to trade in someone, we're going to label them a trap. And if we don't think we should be trading out a player, well, we're going to give yourself a slap and wake up to yourself. So I'll get stuck straight in. I'll try to get through fairly quickly today, given the early Thursday games this week. I guess meaning that we'll get the round reviews out later tonight, and I've got a bit of stuff in between recording these and recording those and life. But enough said. Tops pick this week in the hooker position, Jerry Marshall King. So I guess our number one target looking at Origin. So he could very well appear over the next few weeks as the tops trade in this position. On the chopping block this week, we've got Danny Levi. I think, has peaked in price. We've probably got enough funds now that we can upgrade our second hooker. So time to move on from Danny Levi. The trap this week, I've gone with Peter Mamazoulis from South Sydney. He is playing his third game, so on the bubble, but he is named on the bench. Damien Cook is back in the starting team. So that may somewhat limit his minutes and obviously any value around picking him this week as his price changes. And the trap this week, I've gone with Api Coruscant. So tough game last week against Penrith. Obviously not playing Penrith again for a little bit. So I think, you don't have to panic and trade out Api. If you are sort of upgrading to, say, a Marshall King to start thinking about Origin, I do think that's a good trade. But I don't think you need to just panic because he might lose a little bit of value in the short term. Into the front row, the tops pick this week is Payne Haas, so back from his injury. And when fit, he is the number one front rower in the game. So, I think there's while keeping one eye on Origin, I think you can still bring in a player of the calibre of Payne Haas because of his ability to outscore every other player in his position. So I think, if you wanted to bring Payne Haas in, you certainly could this week. On the chopping block, I've gone with Tom Flegler. So I guess, if you're looking to fund the Payne Haas move, he's an easy way to do that. Also, we've got the likes of a Sam Hughes on our bench. I don't think it's worth trading out Sam Hughes, which I'll discuss in a second. So, we do have to find an avenue to get into Payne Haas. Players that aren't playing like Tom Flegler, I think can go. The trap this week, I've gone with Xavier Willison. So people still trading him in this week. However, Payne Haas is back, and they've also reverted to a 3-forward bench. So that sort of suggests to me that the minutes for Willison will be limited. If you've got him, he's not a trade out. You can hold him. We've talked about his, coverage through the Origin period when, the big boys will probably try to sit out a few minutes. But I think for the time being, you don't have to bring him in. And the slap this week, I've got Josh Curran there, but this also applies to a Sam Hughes. We talked about the Dolphins have good Origin bye coverage, but the Bulldogs arguably have better coverage. They cover rounds 13, 14, 16, 17. Their other buys other than this week are around 15 and 19. So I think, if you can hold your Bulldogs assets this week, not just in the front row, but across the park, I think, you'll be well served for the next at least 8 weeks, leading up and in through the Origin period. Second row this week, the tops pick, I've gone with Max Plath. So is playing in that lock forward role at the Dolphins. Obviously, he won't score 2 tries every week, but we just finished talking about the Dolphins' Origin coverage is quite good. playing 13, 16, and 19. So bringing him in at his cheap price with his workload in the middle, I think is a pretty good result for owners. So I think you can still bring him in. Maybe the last chance because he has got a high negative break even this week, so his price could take off. On the chopping block, I've gone with Fini Fuyaki from the Cowboys. Sorry, Jeremiah Nanai. I got the two confused. Jeremiah Nanai from the Cowboys. So probably is dipping in value a bit. You would expect he's going to be named in Origin, so as a Cowboys player, he won't play round 13 anyway. If he's playing for Queensland, so I think we can cut Nanai from our squads. The trap this week, I've gone with Pat Carrigan. So I guess another sort of victim of Payne Haas coming back. Obviously, he in his absence, Carrigan has been playing 80 minutes and obviously picking up some of the workload. But that will reduce with Payne Haas back in the middle. And also, I guess, again, Origin coming up, probably not much use bringing in Carrigan when you're going to have to trade him back out. And the slap this week, I've gone with Morgan Smithies. So, not sure. Obviously, 40 isn't fantastic, but the reality is the Raiders play round 13 and 14 coming up. Being an Englishman, he's no chance of origin. And I guess also given the fact they've lost their chief playmaker, there's every chance that the Raiders are doing a lot more defensive work, and that is Smithy's specialty. So, if you are looking to bring in a Plath, I'd find another avenue rather than a Morgan Smithies. Into the halfbacks, and I think the best trade in this week is Nico Hines. Obviously, put on a masterclass last week. Um, the Sharks have good buy coverage coming up with round 13 and 14 coverage. I think Nathan Cleary is going to, have the 7 jerseys sewn up. So unless they want to use two sort of utilities on the bench with, a hooker utility and then a outside back, I can't really foresee Nico Hines getting a spot. So I think he will play, and that all adds up to, bring him in. On the chopping block is Jamal Fogarty. So unfortunately, bicep injury out for 12 weeks or thereabouts. So, 1 week can easily chop if we do have. The trap this week, I've gone with Sean Johnson. Not to say he's a bad trade in, but there was a report that he's playing through a bit of a foot ankle type injury. So I guess, if the Warriors are doing well, which they are inclined to of late, other than last week, I suppose, he may get an early shower. So just be mindful of that. Still thinking about bringing him in other formats, but obviously with just two halfback slots in SuperCoach, I've got Hines and Cleary anyway, so it's more of a PSA announcement that he is playing injured. And the slap this week, I've gone with Matt Burton. Obviously, probably more in our 5/8 consideration given his dual position, but in line with what we said, hold the Bulldogs' assets. He would be a very outside chance of playing Origin, and particularly, I guess, the stocks at left centre, and I guess 5/8 he might squeeze a spot there. They may still go with the old Penrith connection of Luai and Cleary again. But I think there's a good chance Burton will play all those games we talked about for the Bulldogs. So I think you just hold on this week if you can. Play your second halfback, whoever that may be, or second 5/8 if you've got him there, and then hang on to him. So in the 5/8 spot, I've cheated. I've gone with Max Plath again. I think probably just the best trading option this week for a 5/8. So I mean, if that's the way you're looking, you could absolutely do that. Just I guess taking a little shortcut, but we like to keep the videos fresh and different in some sense, so we can break the rules occasionally. Chopping block, Cole Flanagan. I think he's done his job. There's plenty of options now. Obviously, Galvin's going all right. Tamari Martin didn't fire up last week, but has shown he can score well. You can bring in Plath if you like the sort of base stat workload that he provides. You've got Matt Burton's going well there at the Dogs in their left edge. Dylan Brown's found a bit of form. So plenty of great options, and I think we've built our bank up enough that we can look to solidify in our 5/8 spot if we have Flanagan. The trap this week, I've gone with Jai Gray. So tough couple of fixtures coming up against Storm and Penrith in the next 2 weeks. So even though he's bottom dollar playing fullback, which we like, he may not make that much money, and then Latrell will come in at round 10 anyway. So unless you think Latrell's going to get an Origin gig and you can use Gray through Origin, I think he is one we can let go. And Ethan Strange I've put on the slap list, mostly just because I want to see how he goes without Jamal Fogarty. It'll be interesting to see how they set up their halves with KO Weeks coming in, who's probably more of a 5/8. Does Strange take more responsibility being the quote unquote senior half in the team? It might be a big ask for the 19-year-old, but from all reports, whatever you throw at him, he has a decent crack. So definitely want to have a look, but not the strongest sort of slap shout this week, but had to come up with something. I could have done Burton again, but we've already double dipped once. And on to the centre wing. So the best trade-in or the top trade-in option this week, couldn't really decide. It depends on your risk profile. I think if you like a risk, I'd go Chevy Stewart. If you want to play it a bit safer, I'd go with Simi Sasangi. So both from the Raiders. Chevy obviously playing fullback. Sounds like he's going to take over the goal kicking as well in Fogarty's absence. So could be some points there. Obviously the threat is that without a recognised halfback, he may not get many attacking stats and many opportunities to kick goals. And that's where Sasangi comes in, so slightly more expensive, but is named in the second row despite being centre, wing, and I think 5/8 from memory. Maybe wrong. But definitely not listed in the second row. Probably less job security for Sasangi, even though he's got more likely to make cash and points in the short term. With Elliot Whitehead's could be back as soon as next week. So depends on your preference, but I think they're probably the two best downgrade options in the centre wing. On the chopping block, I've gone with Xavier Savage. So I guess while we're talking about these bottom dollar Raiders, the guys that have already made some money, may have peaked in price, given that there may not be the potential for continual upside. So I think Schiller's got a little bit more juice in the orange, so to speak. But if you've got Savage, I think you can trade him out. The trap this week, I've gone with Jack Bostock. So people bringing him in, we've talked about Dolphins have great origin buy coverage. Bostock, I don't think he's missed either a try or a try assist in the first 6 games that they've had this season. So people are looking at that going, well, we need to get on. But I think, all good things must come to an end. I don't know if there's the value in the pick at the moment. There's probably better value options that will still cover those first couple of Origin weeks in particular. So I wouldn't recommend bringing in Jack Bostock, but again, if you've got him, you absolutely hold him. He is killing it, and can do us a job over the Origin break as well. And the slap once again this week. I think this is about 4 weeks in a row. But Taylor May, he's back. Cleary's back. And I guess it's just one of those things, you don't want to trade him out the week that he goes off. It's coming. It's just a matter of being patient. You can trade someone like a Xavier Savage or a James Schiller and actually make money bringing in Taylor May, which if you said that at the start of the year, people would have laughed. So I think he's a hold. He might even be a tops trade-in option, but we'll discuss that a bit more in the round preview. And the fullbacks, so I've gone with Reece Walsh as the tops pick. Obviously bottomed out in price at the moment. Offers great value. The issue is that he will play Origin, so you do need to factor that into your decision. But I think if he can make some money and obviously score us some points, um, then it makes sense at his price point to bring in Reece Walsh. Chopping block, I think this is the most obvious one. Kalen Ponga out for most of the season with a foot injury, which is unfortunate. And I guess the one advantage we do have is at his price point, we can essentially bring in any other player that we want, fullback or otherwise. The trap, I've gone with Dylan Edwards, and I think the only reason I'm saying this is a trap, I don't hate the pick. I just think he is peaked in price. With Nathan Cleary back, he won't be kicking goals. He can still ton up and score well, but I think his upside is limited now that Cleary is back. So, which seems weird to say, but I just think Reece Walsh, 2.5 or 250k cheaper thereabouts. I just think offers better value. And the slap, I've gone with Scott Drinkwater, so not much has changed. I think he is still the top target in the fullback spot for round 13-14 coverage. So just because he's had a bit of a down game, there's no need to panic and trade out Drinky. But that wraps up the video for this week. If you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, as always, add them below this video. Like the video if you enjoy this sort of analysis. Subscribe for all the fantasy content. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.